Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Asma Farooq. Today I will be speaking on global digital health with a focus on the WHO initiatives in digital health implementation strategies and the associated challenges and opportunities with a focus on the low and middle income countries. Before I begin, I would like to sincerely express my gratitude to the Universal Digital Health team and its organizers for providing me with this valuable opportunity to share my knowledge with you. In this lecture, we will focus on the overview of the global digital health vision, review the WHO strategy and its key components. We will also examine the challenges faced by the low and middle income countries in implementing digital health, highlight the opportunities, and evaluate the overall impact of the digital health strategies on health system equity and the achievement of the universal health coverage. Digital health is basically the field of knowledge and practices that involve use of digital technologies such as the mobile health, electronic health records, telemedicine, AI, wearable devices, and health information system to improve the health outcomes, strengthen the health system, and enhance the patient engagement. It has a few core values, which we also called as the guiding principles that the solution must be open and transparent. It ensures trust and accountability. It should be easy to access so that all populations, including the most vulnerable ones, can benefit from it. Second is that health tools need to be scalable and replicable. Like it allow the successful models to expand and adapt across different settings. And then is the interoperability across the systems. This is very essential so that data can flow seamlessly and support continuity of care. And finally is the ethical consideration. That is, it must be protecting the privacy, security, and confidentiality to maintain public trust and safeguard sensitive health information. Now let's see what is the vision of WHO Global Digital Health Strategy. Initially, it was planned from 2020 till 2025. Later on, it was further extended till 2027. So the goal of digital health are broad but interconnected. First, the ultimate aim is to improve health of everyone everywhere by making policies solutions that are affordable, extendable, and centered around the people's need rather than the technology itself. Secondly, is the key role of digital health is to help countries in prevention, detection, and respond to epidemic and pandemic. We have seen the importance of it during the COVID-19. And the third objective is to leverage health data and digital tools to accelerate progress towards the sustainable development goals, especially the WHO triple billion target. The triple billion target is the 1 billion people benefit from universal health coverage, 1 billion people protected from the health emergencies, and 1 billion enjoying the better health and the well being. The fourth one is the digital health solution must follow essential values. They need to be accessible, equitable, efficient, affordable, sustainable. All of these features have already been described by the Dr. Fayaz and Dr. Umar in the previous lectures. These values should support every stage of the healthcare, from health promotion and disease prevention to diagnosis, treatment, rehabilitation, and even the palliative care. And then is that to succeed, digital health relies on the continuous research, innovation, and collaboration across the sectors because that's how we further improve. And lastly, it also requires the strong investment in the governance, workforce capacity, and infrastructure. There is a shared global responsibility among the countries and stakeholders to develop solutions that particularly support low and middle income countries, where the potential for the transformation is greatest. Now we see what is the key message of guiding principles. The first one is the country ownership. It means that the countries should lead and tailor the digital health plans to their national e-health policies, developing the framework that integrate digital health into the public health priorities. Integration is the key for the success. Digital health technologies are powerful tools, but they only work well when part of a wider health system strategy. Like the successful initiatives need strong leadership and governance, coordination of financial, human, organizational, and technological resources, standards, and a structured framework that connects multiple health priorities. Poorly coordinated or isolated digital health projects often create the fragmented information system that reduce the service quality, So integration must ensure the efficiency, better care delivery, and alignment with the national goals. Then is the promotion of the appropriate use of digital technologies. Digital health should be like the digital public goods. It must be flexible for each country and helping everyone get fair access. It should protect people, health workers, and the system from misinformation, cyber threats, fraud, data misuse, discrimination, and human rights violation. Take into account the digital factors like digital literacy, device access, internet, and broadband. It must follow the WHO standards to ensure system can connect and work together. And lastly is the ethical considerations like it must be people focused, ethically safe, trustworthy, evidence based, and environmentally friendly. Then is the sport for the least developed countries. It must cover everything. Here is a potential cost saving in AI application by a source that is the Healthcare IT News. You can see that how much we can save in the coming years by the use of the AI in healthcare. In this cycle, you can see the implementation framework of the WHO. Its purpose is to provide the structure, tools, and collaboration methods to help countries and partners implement the strategy effectively, tailored to the diverse context. Like, and its key components are the commitment, like countries, stakeholders, WHO commit voluntarily to implement the strategy, respecting the national priorities, resources, and capacities. It must catalyze to build a cooperative environment to create, scale up, and sustain the digital health process and technologies. It promotes the technical collaboration, synergies, and development of digital global public goods. And Meyer includes the monitoring and the evaluation effectiveness through data collection and reporting. It must check whether the strategy is achieving its purpose and it helping the countries or not. Then is the enhancement and iterate, like it use the feedback and evidence to refine, adapt, and update the strategy regularly, reviewing annually and starting new cycles of action when needed to stay relevant with the emerging technologies. Here you can see that who are the key actors in implementation. That includes the WHO and all the other stakeholders, including the public. Then are the principles. Now here are the list of the methods and approaches that are being used by these key actors to achieve their goals. First is the national interoperable ecosystem, that is, how countries technically connect the systems. Then, in global standards and regulations, we will see how consistency and safety are ensured worldwide. Then is the health data rights, privacy, and accountability that ensures how trust and legal safeguards are built. In digital identity and trust, we measure how individually securely access and use these services. And then is the collaboration on health data economics. It measures how cost, benefits, and sustainability are shared. There are four strategic objectives set by WHO to implement the digital health. First one is to promote global collaboration and knowledge transfer in digital health. Short-term goals that has to be achieved in 1 to 2 years. Countries should join global collaborations, map their gaps and priorities, and set up governance structures for digital health, especially for emergency preparedness. Think of it as laying the foundation and joining the network. Then the medium term that has to be achieved within 2 to 4 years. Countries can establish the innovative hubs or centers of excellence, create a sustainable digital ecosystem, and start sharing health data to track progress toward universal health coverage and the sustainable development goals. This is the building and scaling phase. Then is the long term, that is 4 to 6 years. Countries should enable joint learning through training programs, integrate digital health across all government sectors, and strengthen their capacity to adopt and manage innovations. The vision here is to institutionalize collaboration so digital health becomes second nature. In strategic objective 1, the WHO role is the mapping global networks, providing technical guidance, research agendas, and repositories. Partners' role are to supporting open source, sharing lessons learned, and building centers of excellence. The core principle of strategic objective one is always use standards and ethical frameworks to keep digital health safe, effective, and sustainable. Strategic objective 2 is about educating, engaging, and empowering people while building trust and equity into every digital health solutions. In the short term, in the first 1 to 2 years, we lay the foundation. We engage stakeholders and find champions, assess existing infrastructure, and plan a national digital strategy. At the same time, we train the workforce in basic digital skills, set open data standards, and start monitoring with maturity models. Government also draft the first policies of digital health services, giving the system a legal and operational backbone. In the medium term, the focus shifts to scaling. We invest in infrastructure and connectivity, expand governance structures, and train a wider health workforce. In applied digital tools, interoperability becomes real. Systems begin to talk to each other across regions and sectors. Monitoring moves from paper to real time dashboards, and policies evolve into regulations that can be enforced. This is where digital health becomes visible to citizens, not just the policymakers. In the long term, the goal is integration. Digital health is no longer a pilot project but a core part of the health system now. We set advanced analysis, AI, and personalized care being used responsibly. Countries align with global standards, maintain strong cybersecurity and privacy, and ensure equity. So, rural and marginalized communities benefit equally. The system becomes resilient, ready to respond to pandemics, climate shocks, and future health challenges. Ultimately, this phase drives progress towards universal health coverage and the Sustainable Development Goals. Objective 3 is about strengthening the governance of digital health at regional and the national levels. In the first phase, the focus is on building the ground rules. Countries prepare a clear implementation plan for digital health, including how to use it in emergencies. At the same time, we expand digital literacy and start accrediting training programs so the workforce is prepared. Global bodies like WHO help set the first interoperability guidelines, and countries align their data governance with international norms. We also produce practical technical guidance covering cost effectiveness, privacy, ethics, and safety, and strengthen the rapid response capacity so digital tools can support health crises right away. In the medium term, governance becomes more structured. Countries develop legal and regulatory frameworks for AI, medical devices, and safe data sharing. Hospitals and health systems strengthen their digital capacity, including infodemic management during crises. Collaboration grows through WHO collaborating centers, which guide and exchange knowledge across borders. At the same time, research and innovation become central. We build trust, adopt evidence based policies, and measure impact. And finally, there is global sharing of best practices. So, governance and interoperability advance together. Then is the longer term where the governance is now fully institutionalized. We see the emergence of a global health data regulation framework that provides the consistency and trust. Countries now advance toward cutting edge solutions, AI driven care, personalized medicine, and smart hospitals. Digital health learning becomes a lifelong process that is supported by the innovation hubs and strong global standards. And at scale, countries openly share research, lessons, and innovations, accelerating progress towards the SDGs. At this stage, digital governance is no longer an add on it, it is an integral part of resilient health system worldwide. Moving on to strategic objective 4, which focuses on fostering innovation and evidence based digital health solutions. This objective is about identifying, evaluating, and scaling up digital health solutions that can improve health and well being. Countries are encouraged to analyze the digital health ecosystem, including startup technologies and projects, to identify solutions with real impact. Develop the frameworks to assess and regulate these technologies, including AI, digital therapeutics, and personalized medicine. Pro- Promote research and evidence generation so government and stakeholders can make informed decision about investment and adoption. And then is the use of global platforms and standards. like WHO's Digital Health Atlas to monitor, coordinate, and scale successful interventions. The Secretariat support this by providing technical guidance, standards, and toolkit for countries to adopt innovative solutions safely and effectively, sharing the global best practices to ensure solutions are sustainable, equitable, and integrated into the health system. In short, Objective 4 is all about the leveraging innovation and evidence to ensure digital health solutions truly improve care and are safe and reach the people who need them most. Now comes towards the monitoring and evaluation. Metrics to measure implementation. To make digital health work well, we need clear ways to measure progress. WHO has developed metrics and value frameworks that align with the universal health coverage and the sustainable development goals. This means that tracking adoption, performance, and equity in different countries using a low burden approach that relies on existing national data. A review every 2 years help check risk, challenges, and opportunities of digital technologies and highlight where innovation can speed up progress. Global collaboration is key, bringing together the United Nations agencies, governments, and stakeholders to share knowledge, investment, and best practices. Then, new technologies must be assessed for safety, quality, and timely adoption while maintaining the norms, standards, and policies, ensuring that they are sustainable, secure, and integrated into the national health system. Throughout, it is vital to protect users' privacy and safeguard patients. Digital health presents huge opportunities for lower middle income countries to transform the healthcare. One of the biggest advantages is leapfrogging the traditional infrastructure. Instead of spending decades building hospitals and labs, countries can use mobile apps, telemedicine, and SMS services to provide care immediately. For example, rural villages can access teleconsultation, health reminder, or test results without relying on the clinics. It also enables real time disease surveillance and epidemic tracking and support cost effective interventions through AI driven decision support in telemedicine, reducing unnecessary cost while improving the quality of care. High mobile phone penetration, young technology savvy populations, and digitally empowered community health workers. They all can provide a strong foundation for rapid adoption and innovation. Then is the global collaboration and donor support from WHO, World Bank, and regional bodies. They can help align the digital health with the UHC and SDGs, providing funding, guidance, and standards. Digital tools can enhance resilience in emergencies. We have already seen it during COVID 19, and it allowed data driven policy making to improve resource allocation, health system performance, and equity, reaching rural and marginalized populations. In short, digital health in lower middle income countries can improve access, efficiency, quality, and equity. But success depends on strategic planning, investment, workforce development, regulatory frameworks, and multi sector collaboration. When we talk about digital health, it is important to recognize the main barriers that limit progress, especially in lower and middle income countries. These challenges usually fall into the six categories. First is the infrastructure gap. Like many rural and underserved areas, still lack reliable internet, electricity, and digital devices. Health data systems are often fragmented, paper based, and unlinked, making it hard to scale digital solutions. Second is the governance and policy barriers like weak regulatory frameworks for data protection, AI, telehealth, and interoperability slow progress. Political instability and the absence of national digital health strategies mean many initiatives are fragmented and donor driven. Then is the financing constraints. Heavy reliance on donor funding makes program unsustainable. Limited domestic budgets and high upfront cost for the infrastructure, training, and system integration further restrict the adoption. Capacity and workforce issues, both health workers and patients often lack digital literacy. Brain drain and resistance to change among staff can further slow digital transformation. Equity and inclusion, digital health can unintentionally widen gaps. Urban population benefit more than the rural ones. Women have lower access to digital tools, and few solutions are designed inclusively for people with disabilities. Last one is the trust, privacy, and the ethical issues. Low public trust, weak cybersecurity, and ethical risk in artificial intelligence, like algorithm bias, can undermine the adoption and reinforce inequities. So, the conclusion is advancing digital health is not just about technology, it requires robust infrastructure, strong governance, adequate funding, skilled people, inclusive design, and trust. In this lecture, we have studied that digital health is not just technology, it is the blend of systems, people, and trust. The World Health Organization strategy brings this together through a clear vision, guiding principles, a governance framework, and a monitoring cycle. For lower middle income countries, the journey is challenging, but digital health offers a chance to leapfrog traditional barriers and rapidly scale solutions. True success depends on strengthening infrastructure, governance, workforce capacity, equity, and integration, while driving continuous innovation. In the end, digital health becomes the bridge to universal health coverage and the social development goals if we implement it wisely. Thank you, everyone. Your insights and experience matter. Please feel free to share your questions now, or if something comes later, you can email me.